Yo, what is up, everybody? It's the dude, it's the rebel, it's the guy that steps to the next level. It's your boy, Ken the Sergeant, aka Level 92. You already know what it is. Welcome back, everybody, to another KeeKlip episode. Today, this is KeeKlip number 75. Yes, we are at our 75th point. 25 more to hit 100. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but for some other future reference videos, I'll probably get something good in. So, and before I get on to my big review today, let's take a little recap. For 73, we have looked over Extreme G, another futuristic racing game. Now, only this time, you're on a motorcycle, and it's kind of like Mario Kart, you know, in a bit. You know, they have weapons and all that, but it's kind of it's really hard when it comes to the turnings and all that. But for number 74, we looked at another Tony Hawk game. That was the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Still a great game to play. I believe it was the best kind of platform game, especially for someone that likes to do extreme sports, and I wish I could skateboard just like that too. Also, me, Tony Hawk. So, for today's 75th KeeKlip, this is something I thought about doing, and thank God I actually got the original. Now, everybody back then already knows how it went down. For Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, Battle of Two Brands. Let's get it on. Yes, the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis were the only two consoles I remember that was really batted out on a competition. You know, Nintendo fighting against Sega, Sega against Nintendo, because of course Sega had the Nintendon'ts. I'm not familiar with what Nintendo had for a slogan, but these guys had a good bout within the past couple of years, from like the early 90s and then somewhat late 90s, early 2000s. But before I get both of these, let's talk about this first. Now everyone knows that I did first off, I did a KeeKlip on this. I don't know what number it was, but it was like way back in those numbers, so check it out. Now, Super Nintendo, I could still consider one of my favorite consoles. They had great games. It's still in nice shape. What Nintendo was basically going for was for this one, it was basically well designed pixelation. Like when Nintendo came out, you know, everything was all 8-bit. It was blocky. Most of the things, you know, was kind of like one tone. You know, like for Mario, of course, he had like all blue, and then he had the red shirt, and of course, he had the facial features and the mustache and all that like that. And also with Mega Man, you know, everything back then was like one solid color. But for the games on here, they basically put in some more details with it. They put in more details within the game and stuff. You know, like it's not like just one solid color, but it's kind of like shade. You know, it's basically, this is the 16-bit era when it came to gaming. And also for the game cartridges, for example, we already looked at this one early. I think this is the 22nd or 25th video I did on it. But yeah, Power Rangers Zero Battle Races. Big, it's kind of a big cartridge, you know, kind of well designed, shape, and it kind of looks right. And also, you know, it has the reset button, the power button, and also, I don't think I mentioned this, but it has the eject button. So we can take a game out so you won't actually jam your chip up. It's pretty decent right here. And where is it? I just had it. Alright. And the controller for the Super Nintendo, very basic. It has your two B and A, has the extra Y and X buttons, and on the back has your back buttons. You know, kind of like I said, it has a good comfortable feel in it. Kind of also have use of your pointed fingers and your thumb once again. And you know, like I said, this one right here was basically, I still consider this a great console. You know, the games were great. The music was great on some of the games, especially Doom. You know, that was actually good music, and also the first-person type shooter. And also, another game, it also featured the super effects, because Doom and Star Fox, those are the only games I know so far that had the super effects chip. That's basically making it. It was still in the 16-bit era, but it's somewhat full. Like Star Fox was full on 3D. Doom, it was close. You know, like the environment was kind of 3D. You know, it had that 360 articulation, but you know, and still some of the characters on there, they were still 2D. But like I said, for Star Fox, it was mostly 3D, and there was a couple of things in there that was kind of 2D, like from comics, and background. And of course, you know, when you first start, you know, you have that map. So Like I said, and I also did Star Fox and that. Take a look at that. And that will do it for the Super Nintendo side. Let's take a look at the Genesis. And thank God I actually found the original one, because you already seen the game version. It's still pretty good. But this right here was the step up. Now before this, there was a system known as the Sega Master that I really never heard of. Played some games when it was on the emulator. Did Street Fighter. It was still great. But then after that came out, we want the NES and the Sega Master had their bout. That came out. This came out. Now the only thing different with this, and first off, it has a good unique shape on here. Has the cartridge holder, has your volume on here, and also headphones, something that the Super Nintendo I don't think has, but the NES does. Has your reset, and it has your on and off switch. Now the only thing different with this, in a way, the screen, the pixelation is a bit more, it's a bit more crispy, more sharp, because this one right here, the Super Nintendo is not really blurry. Like, it's still good, but this one right here is more, it's more crispy touching to it, The one thing that separates this from that, of course, the brand, but also the music on here, because I think I got a game. I know a game that I'm going to be doing for a double feature later on. But the music on the Super Nintendo, you can actually hear it better. But for this one, it's basically more like I want to say like bleeps and bloops. Once I get this game, I'll show the difference in that. The one thing, and yeah, also back here has the it's the same as the NES. Has the RS switch thing. You have the channel 3, and then the power cord goes in there. There was also some other things that actually can hook up to your Genesis, and these add-ons. I wouldn't say it really didn't do well, but if I found these things, I'd probably get it just for the hell of it. For one, for people who don't know, there was the 32X, and it's basically like a add-on console, so to speak. You put it on top of here, and then you put your games in here. First off, I shouldn't have done this first. Now the games for these you already seen. They're kind of small. It still has the tile on the top, so you know what it is. It has a really good design picture. This is Space Harrier 2. Did a KeeKlip on that. Watch it. Yeah, it has a really good design in it, and this game is actually pretty. This is pretty good for almost full on 3D, and I still like that picture. If I could cosplay that, that'd be cool. First, I gotta make the gun, but yeah. So put on top of there, that's it. Now, the only thing with this one, it was kind of hard, not really putting it in, but then trying to pull it out, it kind of gets stuck for a little bit, so you gotta wiggle your way out. But okay, so like I said, get that real quick. The 32X, like I said before, the 32X is basically a more it was an add-on to feature more graphics, and I don't think you can actually play Genesis games on it, but I do know they actually had their own 32X games. They had what I remember, Knuckles and the Chaotix. It was like a decent game. Just Knuckles' own game. There was also Doom. There was Virtual Fighter and Primal Rage. Yeah, Virtual Fighter and Primal Rage. Now, I've seen Primal Rage. Still decent. But I think it's kind of better on Super Nintendo. But it didn't really sell that much back in the day. Hell, let alone trying to get selling the Superboy or the Virtual Boy. Sorry about that. And another add-on, if you take this off, this right here will be the insertion of a system called the Sega CD. Now that right there, I've never heard of that either. Now the thing that one, CDs were gonna be really big, when time came along, and so they decided to make a Sega CD. Now it was not made by Sony. It was actually made by I want to say Philips, because Philips basically was a whole entertainment kind of company. So they started making CDs for it. Now the games on that, it was basically like watching a movie, but it's basically like watching a movie or a TV show, but it's basically just watching a movie. It basically was like its own DVD player. Cause I think Carmen San Diego was one of the games. There was a Power Ranger one. I seen a review on that. I think Lord Carnage did that. Check his site out. You know, there were some other games to it. I'm not sure how many of that sold out, but I wouldn't say it wouldn't be that much. Now, the only thing that suck about these add-ons is that they have their own individual power cores. You have to have a power core for the 32X. You have to have one for the Sega CD. It has to be plugged to the back of that, and that's like a whole lot of wiring, especially when it comes to the power adapters. And back then, instead of like just original plug, it was basically like a box, and the box was basically the battery. Now they could have done what the NES did, have a plug, but they have a battery like alongside the cord. You know, made more simple. But all in all, you know, I mean the Genesis, you know, it stood for a test of time. And the last Sega known console that I remember, of course, was the Dreamcast that I did way earlier. That was the first game I actually, second console that I actually bought for one of my dudes at work, alongside the 64. Still great. But, yeah, so, I mean, Sega had some great, very own titled games, you know, but then when it came to, like, games that's, like, on another console, like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Primal Rage, you know, stuff like that, you know, I probably say I'd rather play those on Super Nintendo. And speaking of Mortal Kombat, here's one thing I actually wanted to mention this. Now, for one, everyone knows Mortal Kombat has blood. On this, there was a video I saw, I don't know what it was, but playing on Super Nintendo, there's no blood, it's sweat. So, you know, it's kind of a change of plans there. Like I said, they both have their different ways, you know, through graphics and music, but also they can change the whole gameplay. Like I said, they still both play like Mortal Kombat. It's just the blood is off on the Super Nintendo. I don't know why. The parents maybe didn't like it. Who cares? But that would be the end of 75. The Sega Genesis versus the Super Nintendo. And in the comments below, vote which one was your favorite. All right. So once again, in a KeeKlip 75, 76. I'll try to think of a game for that, and it's gonna be good. But before I go, here's something I'd like you guys to do. You like and comment on the video that you've seen today. You can also subscribe to me from the bottom or the top, whatever comes up. Also find me on Facebook. I'm Keenan Sargent, or facebook.com/do1192. You can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram, do1192, same name. Until next time, stay tuned for 76. And I'll see you when I see you. And y'all stay awesome. Peace.